Welcome to your lesson today for hyperboles and idioms. And this is the last new piece of information before you take your poetry test. So let's start with the hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech in which exaggeration is used for emphasis or effect. It is also known as extreme exaggeration. There is a spot on the handout that's attached in this classroom for you to add a definition. That's the definition you'll add. So some examples of a hyperbole would be I could sleep for a year, or the book weighs a ton. Extreme exaggeration. Nobody can sleep for a year. And no book weighs a ton. So why do we use them? Well, again, this is all designed to add colorful exaggerations and interest to a story. All these little things we've been learning about for figurative language make our writing better. Another example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, is much more interesting than saying, I'm hungry. Getting a shot in my arm stung. Another exaggeration. Getting a shot in my arm stung like a bee makes it a little more colorful and a little bit more interesting. These books are heavy. That statement could be true, but when you go to say, these books are heavy as lead, then we're adding some exaggeration and making our writing a little more interesting. I was angry, or I was so angry I could have punched a hole through the wall. That's much more vivid. We could certainly imagine being that angry and trying to imagine what that would look like physically. A hole in the wall. It rained hard. Or we could say it rained so hard I thought I was going to drown as I walked from the bus into the school. So again, much more detailed, much more colorful, much easier to imagine. That's why we would use a hyperbole. I'm sure there's some other examples you can think of. I think there's room on your handout for that. But we're going to go ahead and move on to some other things. This is all on your handout. The music was loud. The garden is pretty. The tired man snored loudly. The flowers grew quickly. I skipped number 5 to make your life a little bit easier, but those other 4 are there. And it's on the handout that's attached to this classroom. It's a Google Doc. And it's simply asking you to rewrite these to make it more interesting by adding a hyperbole. Share if you like. If we have time in our discussion, we can talk about some of these, but we're moving on to our next topic, the idiom. So what is an idiom? These are words, phrases, or expressions that are not interpreted logically or literally. There's also room for a definition on the same Google Doc attached to this classroom, so please make sure you add that definition there too. So for example, a common idiom is it's raining cats and dogs. What does this mean? Does it mean cats and dogs are falling from the sky? Does it mean it's raining very hard? Does it mean it's hardly raining? Or the weather is horrible? If you chose it's raining very hard, you had the correct answer. It's raining cats and dogs does not literally mean animals are falling from the sky. Skeletons in your closet. Does it mean A, your closet is full of skeletons? B, you are hiding something in your closet? C, you have secrets or something that you don't want anyone to know? Or D, you're not afraid of anything? If you guessed C, you have secrets or something you don't want anyone to know, you are correct. So again, these are not the literal meaning, they are the figurative meaning. Here are some other common idioms you might have heard. To break the ice would be the first person to say or do something, hoping that other people will join you. To have a chip on your shoulder describes a person who is angry and defensive, who is always ready to argue or fight. Hold your horses means be patient and wait a minute. If you are over the hill, you are old or too old to do something. On cloud 9, you are very happy or excited. And if someone is pulling your leg, they are very simply just teasing you. So you probably have heard some of these before, if not all of them. So also there's room on your handout to read a sentence. There are 5 common idioms listed in a box above and 5 sentences below that. What you are doing is matching those to the sentence that it best matches to. And then there's room on the Google Doc for you to write a new sentence of your own using that same idiom. And once you have completed that, you are finished. And please go ahead from there and turn in your Google Doc to receive credit. So as I mentioned, this is the last new figurative language that will be on your poetry test, which we will be talking about later.